The DJI Mini 3 has some awesome features, some of which are a little bit hidden, such as the fact that it can do basic tracking in quick shots mode and that you can nudge launch the drone. In this video, we will take a look at how, along with 10 things you may not know about the DJI Mini 3. Let's jump right in. Now, the first thing you may not know, and is a little bit hidden about the DJI Mini 3, is the fact that you can have the drone track you when using quick shots mode. Now, this tracking is nowhere near as good as the DJI Mini 3 Pro, but it will allow the drone to track you, and this is super useful for getting more dynamic shots, and this is especially useful if you're recording yourself out and about. So how do we do it? Well, the first thing you want to do is go to quick shots mode, and what I recommend doing is using the circle mode, and I'll explain the reason for this. Now, once you've got your drone in the position that you want it, what you want to do is you want to tap the plus icon that will be over yourself, or draw a box around yourself if there is no plus icon, to make sure that you are selected. Now, here's the reason for using the circle quick shot mode. What you want to do is you want to have the drone to the side of you, and you want to set the arrow to be going in the direction that you're going to be walking. Now, the reason for this is once you start this quick shot, the drone is going to start trying to do a circle around you. But if I walk in that direction, the drone will actually never really be able to get ahead of me. And so what that means is the drone will stay to my side the entire time, and I'll get this nice tracking shot. So I'm going to hit start. Now, this is important. Let the countdown happen. And once you see the little place marker icon appear, then you want to start walking. Now, even though this is a place marker icon, you can see that the drone is actually tracking me. And as I walk, because the drone can never really get in front of me, I'm getting this really nice tracking shot using quick shots. Now, the second thing you may not know about the DJI Mini 3, and again is a little bit hidden, is the fact that you can nudge launch this drone. Now, this was something that you could do on the DJI Mini 2, but you couldn't do on the Mini 3 Pro, but is now available on the Mini 3. So the way this works is you want to start the propellers using the joysticks by pressing them downward and inward. But the minute the propellers start, you simply want to pull the drone down gently and push it up gently, or nudge it, and the drone will automatically take off. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to start the propellers, I'm just going to nudge the drone, and you can see that it automatically takes off. It's as simple as that. Now, there's only one thing that you need to be aware of, and that is you need to do this relatively quickly. You need to do that nudge motion relatively quickly after you start the propellers, as if you leave it too long, then the drone won't take off when you do it. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to start the propellers, I'm going to wait a few seconds, and now when I nudge it, you can see that it's not going to take off. So if I just stop the propellers by holding that joystick down, and I do it again by starting the propellers and nudge it, you can see that it takes off. So you just want to make sure that you nudge the drone quickly after you start the propellers. Now, the next thing you may not know is that the LEDs on the front arms of the drone flash different colors to have different meanings. So not only are these LEDs to illuminate your drone in the sky or to illuminate your drone and help you see it at nighttime, they are also used as status indicators and can give you warnings or let you know about the condition of the drone. If they are alternating red, green and yellow, this is usually when you've just turned the drone on and it's doing a self-diagnostic check, such as when the gimbal is checking that it's not stuck. If they're flashing yellow, this means there's no GPS. In normal flight, when everything is good to go, they flash green. And if they start to blink or flash red rapidly, that means you have a critically low battery. Now, something else that you may not know, and again is a little bit hidden, is the fact that there is 4 different ways that you can view and look around a sphere panorama after you've taken it. So once you put the drone in the air, you've used the sphere panorama mode and the drone has completed taking that sphere panorama. What you want to do is you want to go into your media library by tapping this icon here. Then you want to click into the sphere panorama you've just taken. And then once you get to this point, you want to tap the 360 photo view option, and it will zoom in to your sphere panorama, and then you will see these 4 options along the bottom. So the first option is scroll, and this allows you to look around in a complete 360 view the environment that you've captured the sphere panorama of. But you can also do planet view, which turns the sphere panorama into this mini planet, which looks really cool. You also have inverted, which again gives this really unique vantage and viewpoint. And lastly, we can do globe, which again compresses everything into this circle. And again, you can look around by moving your finger across the screen. Now, before we move on to the next thing you may not know about, I just wanted to talk about today's video sponsor, which is Epidemic Sound. I say it all the time, but when it comes to putting together drone videos, one of the things that makes a massive difference to how professional they seem is sound effects and music. Just take a look at this before and after. As you can see, by simply adding sound effects and music, your drone videos become much more engaging and professional. But the big question is, how do you find great sound effects and music that you're allowed to use in your drone videos? Well, I've been using Epidemic Sound as my go-to source, as they have a huge library of 35,000 tracks and more than 90,000 sound effects, with new tracks added every week. They also own 100% of their rights to all their music, so you never need to worry about copyright penalties if you post your videos to social media sites such as Instagram or YouTube. Let's take a look at their fantastic library and how I used it for this clip. To find a sound effect, I used the Epidemic Sound themes. There are currently 27 themes with 160 playlists in a huge range of music styles and sound effect types. For this clip, I went into the Waves theme, and I used the Ocean Waves Beach sound effect by simply downloading it and then dragging it onto my timeline. For music, Epidemic Sound allows you to browse by genre, moods, or themes. They also have a really great feature that recommends music based on your YouTube channel or other songs you've downloaded before. If you would like to give their platform a try, you can use a link in the description to get a 1-month free trial. The best part is, all content published during a trial or active subscription will stay cleared forever. So you have nothing to lose, and I recommend you give Epidemic Sound a try to improve your drone videos. Now, if you want the best video quality possible, then this next tip is super important. For the best video quality, you have to use 30 FPS or lower. The reason for that is the DJI Mini 3 has a dual native ISO system, which gives you higher dynamic range in your videos. Now, this is not something you need to turn on, it is automatically available, but it is only available at 30 FPS or lower. And there's an indicator for that in the FPS settings. So this is not going to be an issue on the Mini 3 in 4K because you can't actually record at higher than 30 FPS. But if you're recording at 2.7K or 1080p, for example, you can record up to 60 FPS. And what you'll see when you're choosing them frame rates is a small HQ icon next to the ones that have dual native ISO automatically enabled. So you can see for 30 FPS, that HQ icon signals that we are using dual native ISO, but if I go up to 60 FPS in 2.7K, the quality of the video will be lower. Now, the next thing you may not know, you can actually increase the controller brightness. So let's say, for example, you're finding the controller screen too dim and you want to increase the brightness. Well, you can actually do that. You want to drag down on the top right of the screen to bring down the controller menu, and then on the bottom right, with the small picture of the sun, you will see a slider. And sliding this to the right will increase your controller brightness. It really is that simple. There's something that was added with a recent firmware update, so make sure that your RC has the latest firmware on it, or if you're using the DJI RCN1, that you've updated the DJI Fly app on your phone to the most recent version, is offline maps. Now, offline maps are super useful if you fly in remote locations all the time, or areas where there's no internet access, but you still want to be able to use your maps. On your controller, you want to tap Profile, then you want to select Offline Maps. Now, you can't unfortunately just download the entire world map, as what you'll see when you start zooming in is this small white rectangle appear. This rectangle is the area that you will be downloading as an offline map. Once you've made your selection, you just want to tap this download icon here. And now whenever you're out flying, this map will be available to use on your controller, even if you're not connected to Wi-Fi. Now, the next thing you may not know has to do with subject scanning. Now, subject scanning was a feature on the Mini 3 Pro that you could turn on or off, but it's always on and always being used with the Mini 3. So what is subject scanning? Subject scanning will automatically place a small plus icon over something that it thinks it can do a quick shot of whenever you're in quick shot mode. So whenever you're in that mode and you stand in front of your drone, for example, you will see a small plus icon appear over yourself, and that's your drone indicating to you that it can do a quick shot of you. All you have to do is tap that plus icon and the box will automatically appear around you. But here's the thing, let's say you've pointed your drone towards a point of interest and you want the drone to automatically fly a drone move around it, but you don't see that subject scanning plus icon. Does this mean that you can't use quick shots for this point of interest? No, of course it doesn't. All you have to do is draw a box around whatever it is you want the drone to track around if that subject scanning plus icon hasn't appeared. And then once you've drawn the box around it, you will be able to perform a quick shot as normal. Now, if you're new to drones and you've never used an ND filter or removed the cap from the front of the camera, you might actually think that this cap has some protective glass on it to protect that camera from small bumps or scratches. Well, whenever you take it off for the first time, you'll realize there is actually no protective glass on that cap. There's simply a gap which goes straight through to the glass on the drone's camera. So if you do want to add an extra layer of protection in front of your drone's camera to protect it against scratches from maybe a bad landing, maybe bumping into something, then I recommend picking up a UV filter. A UV filter is a clear piece of glass and you can replace the standard cap on your DJI Mini 3 with this, and this means you have an extra layer of sacrificial glass in front of your camera, meaning if you do crash or do have a bad landing and the UV filter gets scratched, you can simply replace this relatively cheaply and not have any damage to your drone's camera. This one I use is from Freewell. I think it works really well and I'll put a link to it in the description down below, but any UV filter you can pick up will do the job. If you've been looking at this controller and you've been looking at the bottom, you might wonder what these screw holes are for. Well, those are there to allow you to attach accessories to the RC securely, such as this lanyard, for example. Now, this lanyard is super handy because it means you can let go of the controller at any time and it's still hanging around your neck. So you can work with your drone, get it ready, and then once it's ready to take off, your controller's just there and you can simply go straight to flying. Now, this lanyard is from Skyri. Again, I'll put a link in the description down below, but there are tons of lanyards and accessories you can get for your DJI RC, which use them screws on the bottom to attach. So there you have it. There's 10 things you may not know and hidden features of the DJI Mini 3. If you've liked this video and you learned something new, please let me know by giving me the thumbs up and clicking that like button down below. And if you love all things drones and want to know how to get more cinematic videos and better photos with your drone, then I recommend you check out my channel where I have a ton of other content to help you level up your drone game. Make sure to subscribe and make sure that notification bell is checked so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And if you want to stick around to see a few more of them now, here's a few I personally recommend. I'll not keep you back any further. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you over there.